Everyone stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This meeting is convened in accordance with the provisions of the Open Publics Meeting Act of New Jersey. Let the official minutes reflect that adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by publishing a notice in the Asbury Park Press on Tuesday, January 8th, 2019, and also forwarded to the Toms River Times, Toms River Patch, and WOBM News on Wednesday, January 3rd, 2019, and thereafter posting same on a Town Hall Bulletin Board for such notices and filing same with the Township Clerk, pursuant to a resolution adopted by the Township Council on January 3rd, 2019. The notice is also published on the Township webpage.
Councilwoman Yurick?
Here.
Councilman Kubel?
Present.
Councilwoman Maruka?
Present.
Councilman Roderick?
Request an excused absence for Councilman Roderick. He has a family emergency down in North Carolina.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Councilman Turnbach?
Here.
Council Vice President Hill?
Here.
Council President Whitman?
Here.
First item, the minutes of June 25, 2019 regular meeting.
Move minutes. Second.
Motion made by Councilwoman Maruka, seconded by Councilwoman Yurick. Councilwoman Maruka?
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick?
Yes.
Councilman Kubel?
I'll abstain. I was not present.
Councilman Turnbach?
Yes.
Council Vice President Hill?
Yes.
Council President Whitman?
Yes.
We do not have any honoring resolutions or presentations tonight, and number 7 was removed from the agenda. Item 8 is a bond ordinance of the Toms River Township of Toms River in the County of Ocean, New Jersey, providing for various paving and roadway improvements and related expenses in and for the Township of Toms River and appropriating $4,085,000 therefore, and providing for the issuance of $3,880,750 in bonds or notes in the Township of Toms River to finance the same. First reading, and I do report we received the supplemental debt statement.
Move the ordinance on first. Second.
Motion was made by Councilwoman Maruka, seconded by Councilwoman Yurick. Councilwoman Maruka.
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes.
Councilman Kubel.
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach.
Yes.
Council Vice President Hill.
Yes.
Council President Whitman.
Yes.
Number 9 is also a bond ordinance of the Township of Toms River, County of Ocean, New Jersey, providing for the purchase and replacement of various equipment and vehicles for township departments and related expenses in and for the Township of Toms River and appropriating $3,417,500 therefore, and providing for the issuance of $3,246,625 in bonds or notes of the Township of Toms River to finance the same. First reading.
What's the council's pleasure?
Move the ordinance on first.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilwoman Maruka, seconded by Councilman Turnbach. Councilwoman Maruka.
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach.
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes.
Councilman Kubel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Hill.
Yes.
Council President Whitman.
Yes.
Item 10 is an ordinance of the Township of Toms River in the County of Ocean, New Jersey, amending and supplementing Chapter 473, vacant and abandoned properties of the Township Code to exempt federally administered and serviced properties from vacant property registration requirements. First reading.
Move the ordinance.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilwoman Yurick, seconded by Councilman Turnbach. Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach.
Yes.
Councilman Kubel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Maruka.
Yes.
Council Vice President Hill.
Yes.
Council President Whitman.
Yes.
And number 11 is a resolution of the Township Council of the Township of Toms River, Ocean County, New Jersey, urging legislators to take action to oppose and seek changes to the reauthorization of National Flood Insurance Program, NFIP.
Move the resolution.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilwoman Maruka, seconded by Councilman Kubel. Councilwoman Maruka.
Yes, and I want to thank Council President Whitman for bringing this to our attention.
Councilman Kubel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach.
Yes.
Council Vice President Hill.
Yes, and I think, they have to bear in mind that the FEMA has not even finalized their flood maps yet. There was I believe, a lawsuit in New York that maintained that they were 2 feet too high, and as you came toward the Jersey coast, it was 1.5 feet to a foot too high. And it doesn't factor in the dunes that we have now, which would have protected us from Sandy. None of this would have happened had those dunes been in place. So I think they really need to rethink this, and also FEMA needs to draw up new maps. So I vote yes.
Council President Whitman.
I vote yes, and I think that this, the proposed legislation is going to increase the flood insurance rate substantially if it goes through in its current format. And so this resolution basically opposes that, and we're hoping that they'll reconsider the amount of the increases, which in some cases is 40% and 50% or more. And I don't think it's fair to the public after the town had all the issues with Sandy over the last years, and now to come back and hammer everyone with major flood insurance increases, I don't think is acceptable to anyone. So I vote yes.
Next is the consent agenda. All items listed under item consent agenda will be enacted by one motion in the form listed below. There will be no separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired on any item, that item will be considered separately. Item A is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing refund of overpayment of taxes for various properties. B is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing an amendment to the resolution dated April 10, 2018, which authorized a professional services contract with the Musial Group Architecture for the design and construction administration for the Town Hall facade repair project in a total maximum amount not to exceed $129,505. The amendment to the contract is to increase the scope of work of the project to include lead testing and associated specification revisions for an additional amount of $5,000 for a total revised maximum contract amount not to exceed $134,505. Item C is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing award of contract for emergency power generator systems maintenance, gen tracker monitoring, and repair services to Ed Broadborough Realty Corporation, trading as Power Equipment Company, as low bidder, meeting all of the bid specifications in the total maximum contract price not to exceed $9,097.60 for 2019, maintenance and monitoring 2019. D is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing award of contract to Resource Management Associates for promotional testing services for the Toms River Police Department and authorizing payment in the amount not to exceed $21,825 plus the option of test question development of $25 per question not to exceed $2,500 if the Police Department chooses to take the option. E is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing change order number 1, final, reduction in contract in the amount of $9,072.68, releasing performance bond, acceptance of maintenance bond, and authorizing final payment to contractor, John J. Backus Incorporated, trading as Quality Electrical Construction Company, in the amount of $478,527.32 for the closeout of the Riverwood Park Soccer Field Lighting Project. Item F is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing change order number 1, final, a reduction in contract in the amount of $35,565.45, releasing performance bond and acceptance of maintenance bond, and authorizing final payment to contractor, Marlin Construction Services Incorporated, in the amount of $96,449.01 for the closeout of the Toms River North Beaches Storm Sewer Replacement Project. G is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing closeout of the improvements to the Toms River Youth Center project with J.H. Williams Enterprises Incorporated, releasing performance bond and acceptance of maintenance bond, and authorizing final payment to contractor in the amount of $37,061.10. Item H is a resolution of the Township Council accepting performance guarantees for a major site plan known as Block 393.03, Lot 24 at 1380 Whitty Road. Item I is a resolution of the Township Council accepting performance guarantees for a major subdivision known as Block 413, Lot 31 at 1554 North Bay Avenue. Item J is a resolution of the Township Council authorizing pocket-to-place transfer of plenary retail consumption license number 1507-33-057-001 issued to Grunin Holdings LLC. And last, item K is a resolution memorializing the 2019 Toms River Special Improvement District budget.
Anyone on the council like any item removed and discussed separately?
Roll call on K, please.
Okay, K. I need a roll call on J. Anyone else? Anyone from the public like any items removed and discussed separately?
Move the consent agenda.
Second?
Motion made to move the consent agenda with the exception of items K and J, made by Councilman Kubel, seconded by Councilwoman Maruka. Councilman Kubel?
Yes.
Councilwoman Maruka?
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick?
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach?
Yes.
Council Vice President Hill?
Yes.
Council President Whitman?
Yes. Roll call on J first and then K.
Move item J?
Second?
Motion was made by Councilwoman Maruka, seconded by Councilwoman Yurick. Councilwoman Maruka?
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick?
Yes.
Councilman Kubel?
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach?
Yes.
Council Vice President Hill?
Yes.
Council President Whitman?
I need to abstain. I use a law firm of Shea & Associates who's representing this customer or client. So I abstain.
Item J?
Yeah, that's on
Item-
J. Now item,
Okay.
Motion to move item,
now we go to K.
motion to move item K.
Second?
This is J, correct?
No, we just did J.
We just did J.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm sorry, the motion was made by Councilwoman Maruka
Yes.
and seconded by Councilwoman Yurick.
Correct.
Councilwoman Maruka.
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick.
Yes.
Councilman Kubel.
I'll abstain. I was not here for the presentation.
Councilman Turnbach.
Yes.
Council Vice President Hill.
Yes.
Council President Whitman.
Yes.
Next are the reports. We have the Bailey Golf Course for June of 2019 at $164,230.48 as compared to 2018 at $162,358.27. We have the Bailey Golf Course the year-to-date through June of 2019 at $512,411.32 and 2018 at $477,292.94. The Winding River Ice Rink for the month of June 2019, $32,151 as compared to 2018 at $31,215.81. The Winding River Ice Rink the year-to-date through June, $460,398.17 as compared to last year, $469,073.59. The building permits for the month of June at $253,934 as compared to last year at $226,986. The building permits year-to-date through June at $1,441,612 as compared to last year at $1,136,882. And we have the beach badges year-to-date through June, $368,286 as compared to last year at $331,865. And the pool badges year-to-date through June at $35,775 as compared to last year at $30,640.
Move the reports into the record.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Kubel, seconded by Councilman Turnbach. Councilman Kubel?
Yes.
Councilman Turnbach?
Yes.
Councilwoman Yurick?
Yes.
Councilwoman Maruka?
Yes.
Council Vice President Hill?
Yes.
Council President Whitman?
Yes.
Next, we have the bills.
Move the
The bill
bills.
is,
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Turnbach, seconded by Councilman Kubel. Councilman Turnbach?
I'd abstain from PO 19-03863 payable to the magistrates, 19-00863, 19-03436, 19-03621, and 19-03623 payable to law firm of Dasty McGuckin. I'm a local attorney in town. I have conflicts with both of those. Yes to the balance.
Councilman Kubel?
I abstain to PO 19-03623, payable to Community Medical Center. I have a conflict. Yes to the balance.
Councilwoman Yurick?
Abstain from 17-01326, 19-03434, 19-03579, and 19-03581, payable to Remington and Vernick, and also PO 19-03863, only as it pertains to recreation salaries. Yes to the balance.
Councilwoman Maruka?
Abstain to PO 19-03863, Line 94, payable to the NJMVC, special duty, I have a conflict. PO 19-00863 and 19-03436 and 19-03621, payable to Dasty and McGuckin. PO 19-03623, payable to Gregory McGuckin, and PO 19-03527, payable to Terry Brady. I have a conflict. Yes to the balance.
Council Vice President Hill.
Yes, with the following abstentions: 19-02835, 19-02836, 19-02837, 19-02838, 19-02839, and 19-02830, payable to Owen Little Associates. 19-03623, payable to Community Medical Center, lines 6 and 15. 19-03570, 19-03399, payable to Toms River Board of Education. And 19-03527, payable to Terry Brady Esquire. Yes to the balance.
Council President Whitman.
Yes, with the following exemptions. Purchase order number 19-03579 for Remington and Verdict as it pertains to Area Properties LLC, 19-0346, line 12, and 19-03434, line 18. That's for Dasty and McGuckin as it pertains to Frank Sadegi. 19-0346, line 12, as it pertains to Toms River Yacht Club. I'm a member. And 19-03581, it's paid by GW Development, which is my company, so I have to abstain. Yes to the balance.
Council President, I think we have to carry over PO 19-03527. I don't think we have enough votes.
Okay.
Were there three on that?
I don't think Terrence can vote, and it's an
Did
attorney
Terrence?
as well, right? Or
Did you
can
abstain,
vote?
Terrence, on Brady?
No, he,
I can vote on Brady.
Okay,
Vote
then
on
we're
Brady?
good.
Okay.
Then we're good, thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay.
All the bills passed, and then next we have elected officials' comments.
Okay, Mayor Kelleher. Okay. Councilman Hill.
Thank you, Council President. I want to talk a little bit tonight about downtown redevelopment. We're striving to get a viable, vibrant downtown. This council in December of 2017 started this journey with an ordinance designating downtown Toms River as an area in need of redevelopment. And then in early 2018, the council purchased the Red Carpet Inn and approved the enabling ordinances to allow for redevelopment. Again, in 2018, Toms River received a $5 million federal grant to raise and reconstruct Herflicker Boulevard to increase the traffic flow downtown and develop a circulation pattern. In 2019, the council approved the contract to demolish the Red Carpet Inn and berm the area of that site to protect against flooding. Also in 2019, the council approved RFPs, which are requests for proposals for the redevelopment of downtown Toms River. And last meeting, June 2019, the council approved a resolution authorizing the execution of an interim cost agreement with Capadoggy for downtown redevelopment. Tomorrow, the bid is meeting, and I talked to Nick, and he indicated that they're going to discuss this, and we anticipate that they're going to be supporting this also. The redevelopment of downtown Toms River is going to increase businesses, and it's going to give us more people living downtown. That'll stimulate growth and invigorate the downtown area. This company has done a number of redevelopment areas in Hackensack, Bound Brook, and Linden around transportation hubs, and our transportation hub is the bus depot downtown. We've talked about the redevelopment of downtown Toms River, and this council's taken the concrete steps to put that plan in motion, and the downtown area is where we want redevelopment. Right now, you don't run into residential development if you go if you go out on Washington Street, you don't really start to get to see housing until you get to Dock Street on the eastern side, Maiden Lane, Magnolia Lane. There are a lot of legal offices and dental offices out in that area. Same thing on Main Street as you head out of town. So we're hoping to get people living downtown, and that'll allow us to stimulate restaurant development and development of shops and businesses, which is going to enhance the downtown area. The second comment I have tonight is on Route 9. There was a meeting held in June, the last Tuesday in June, on June 26th. That was the night we had a council meeting. The state is proposing to do about 6.9 miles of renovation to Route 9 from basically Swain Avenue and Toms River up to 2nd Street in Lakewood. They're going to do milling, resurfacing of Route 9. They're going to improve some intersections. Unfortunately, they're only going to do 2 in Toms River, Whitty Road and Church Road. They're going to have turning lanes as you head southbound on Whitty. You're going to be able to make a left-hand turn. If you head northbound on Whitty, they're going to have two lanes, a right turning lane and a lane going straight ahead. And as you come off of Whitty, they're going to have a right turn and a left turn lane. And then on Church Road, again, southbound, they're going to have a left turn lane and a right bypass lane. And going north, same thing, there'll be a right turn lane and a left turn bypass. And then coming on Church Road, as you come into Route 9, there'll be a right turn lane and a left turn lane. I would suggest to them that they look into Clayton Avenue. There's already a curb improvement that would allow a bypass for people making a left to get to the fire station. I'd also suggest they look into Sunset Avenue because there's the county health department there, there's the county agriculture building, and you've also got the juvenile center over there. So again, that tends to back up. I would suggest a left turn lane there, and again, a bypass lane so that you continue straight. And I would also suggest up at, Riverwood, that there also be consideration given to a left turn lane there, and also on Stevens. These are all roads that intersect and give us flow onto Whitesville Road that alleviates some of the traffic on Route 9. Unfortunately, the project's not going to start until 2022. If you've driven on Route 9 lately, that road is falling apart. I'm afraid if they don't start this in the next year, they're going to have to reconstruct the entire road because it's just going to it's going to fall apart. To wait another 3 years for construction and then that project to take 2 years is unacceptable. This is not what we want. We would like to have that 4 lanes with a divided highway. It's a Band-Aid, but the Band-Aid should be applied now, not in 3 years. We're already hemorrhaging on that road. So I would encourage the state to move forward with this and make those changes that we've suggested for Toms River. They're doing a lot more intersection improvements in Lakewood than they are in Toms River, and I think they need to consider these roads that I mentioned in Toms River so that we can increase traffic flow in that area. That's all I have. Thank you.
Councilman Cabell.
Nothing further this evening.
Okay, Councilman Turnback.
Thank you, Council President. As we continue towards the launch of our property tax rebate program, I was excited to receive an email from Joe Kostecki, who is the business administrator in South Toms River. They had investigated the same company we were utilizing, and I was happy to hear that it appears South Toms River has passed a resolution to join the My Estate Card program and to look to create what's going to be termed as a regional business partnership with Toms River, whereby residents of South Toms River can come in, make purchases at our businesses here in Toms River and receive property tax relief. So very exciting news as we move forward with this, and within the next couple of weeks we're going to have a press release out on this. We're already speaking to businesses to join this property tax rebate program with very positive response, but everything seems to be falling into place, and very happy to hear that South Toms River is now joining us and wants this regional business partnership. That's all I have tonight.
Thank you. Councilwoman Maruka.
Thank you, Council President. I just wanted to say a couple weekends ago on a Saturday, the 29th of June, the Friends of Ortley Beach conducted a town-wide garage sale over in Ortley. Extremely successful. There was a lot of homeowners that took part in that, and that's something they have made an annual event as part of their summer series of different events that they're holding over in Ortley Beach. Also, I just want to thank the Mayor, Don Guardian, our engineer, Bob Chinkalian, Lieutenant Delane from the Police Department, and Councilman Hill for joining me over in Normandy Beach Improvement Authority and meeting with the residents of the northern beaches. We did that a couple weeks ago as well, and a lot of constructive dialogue back and forth with it. And I know a couple of suggestions have come out of that, specifically the issues with the Wawa and a lot of teenagers congregating there. So working with our police department, looking at possible curfew for that section of town and see if we can move forward and try to curb the, just the large gatherings of youth that have, come there because of social media and things like that. So we're looking at doing that, and there was a couple other suggestions that came out of that. And then also, I just wanted to talk about next Wednesday night on July 17th, over on the Funtown Beach in Seaside Park. It's going to be our Pros versus Heroes football game. That's where our officers play against a lot of the local sports figures. I know in the past few years, Frankie Edgar has participated in that, and some pro football players from the Giants and other sports teams. It's just a really great event. It benefits our police foundation, and hopefully everybody can make it out for that event. And that's all I have, Council President.
Thank you. Councilwoman Yurick?
I just wanted to mention the July 4th celebration, the flag raising in Normandy Beach with the mayor. He was able to raise the flag, and Councilman Hill. It was a really moving ceremony. And remind everyone that coming up, we have a festival, Summer in the Streets, July 20th from 12 to 6, right out here on Washington Street. That's it.
I have no additional comments, so I'll open up for public comments. Anyone wishing to speak, please raise your hand. Yes, ma'am. You have to come up to the microphone and identify yourself and tell us who you are and where you're from. Yeah, you got to tilt that down.
Hi, my name is Tammy Stanziel. I live on 11 Plainfield Avenue in Lavallette, New Jersey. Sorry? I can't hear it? It's not on?
Is it, Mark, could you adjust that? We'll get somebody to come over. Mark will come over and fix it.
Testing.
Okay,
Now, you have to just go a little closer.
sorry.
That's all right.
Got it? Hi, Tammy Stanziel. I live on 11 Plainfield Avenue in Lavallette, New Jersey. Recently, say in September, the Army Corps of Engineers came and built a ramp on our block that is ADA accessible. We've been having some issues. The ramp is beautifully made. You can get to the top if you're in a wheelchair, but once you make the left curve and then back to the right, it is filled with about 2 inches of soft sand. I have been emailing. I volunteer with Team Randy. They are out of Ocean County, and they're at camp for the challenged teenagers. One of our alumni is here tonight, Thomas Spadaro. Once they get to the top, nobody in the wheelchair can pass down and then back. I have emailed to the engineer in Toms River, the board, the grounds board, Councilwoman Maruka. 3 trucks came out about June 25th. They never turned their trucks off. They got out, they took a rake, and they just went through the soft sand, but nothing was blown away. So we're still having an issue that it's not passable, and we're trying to figure out the best way to maintain this ramp. I feel that maybe they used a leaf blower to get the soft sand out of the way, and the hard pack will then be underneath. That'll be more passable to our friends that use wheelchairs for mobility.
Does this have a mat or not?
There's no mat on it. It's a hard pack.
Okay.
The Army Corps of Engineers said that this is what is compliant to the ADA.
Okay. Well, obviously, it isn't if you can't negotiate
Correct.
with a wheelchair. So
That's correct.
I'll ask the township engineer to come up and explain what he's done so far and what we can do to fix this.
Just to give the council a little background, as you may recall, initially, we had requested mats on all of the walkovers that the Corps was going to construct. They had reported back to us that they would not install mats on the ADA walkovers because they tend to go out of alignment and grade, and as I think you know, you have to have a certain cross slope. So this is what they would install, and quite frankly, the design that they use throughout the country. I was able to go out there with the Buildings and Grounds Director, say a week or so ago, basically at the very base of the walkover. As the wind blows, you get some sand. It was, I would say, as she said, maybe 2 inches at best. I understand the Buildings and Grounds is raking it, trying to, as best they can, get the loose sand off of the gravel. We've spoken about getting some additional hard pack to, try to build it up at some point, although we have to maintain the grade that, as you may know from the boards, they set boards at the bottom of the railing to guide you. You rake to those boards, and that's how you maintain the slope on this material. But it seems to be a wind-blown sand issue at the bottom of the ramp that I think we're going to have to just keep on a maintenance schedule. But I'll defer to Craig on the use of leaf blowers and blowing sand on the beach. I know
What about
that's-
compaction? Can't we bring a little hand compactor in?
Well, it is, the hard pack, there's 12 inches of hard pack already there. What happens is, when you get sand, you get about an inch layer of sand, which they use a rake to rake off. I know.
How often do we rake it off, do you know?
I defer to Craig on that.
We've raked it off about 4 times in the past 2.5 weeks.
Okay, is there a way to do it every day with the lifeguards and give them a rake and ask them to do that, or somebody at the beach to do that? So we could do it every day?
This is up at the private beaches, sir. This isn't down where we have our crews.
Oh,
Yeah.
so maybe the solution, what if we were to do that on a daily basis, have the association have their lifeguards do it? Would that help?
I'm sure it would help, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one of the suggestions we have is, since it's a private beach and we installed it and compacted it, at this point, I think we need to get, you talk to your association and have them have the lifeguards clean it off every day, because we just can't keep on going there. Yes, come on up.
Our association was told by Tom's River that we were not to tamper with it because it now was a Tom's River issue. What we
Who
could do...
who told them that? Who told them that?
I don't know. This is what they told me. The association said that they were not allowed to do anything because Tom's River needed to do it.
Well, they certainly can brush the sand off the ramp, the bottom of the ramp. We're not, if they go in and try and manipulate the compaction rate or something like that, that's different. But all we're talking about is blowing the sand off the ramp, and I think they can certainly do that. Whether they want to choose to bring a leaf blower or they want to bring a rake, that's fine.
So it's
Yes.
then we can just handle that, or the lifeguards can do that, and there won't be an issue.
There won't be an issue as long as they're just raking off the
Yeah,
loose
the rake
sand.
won't work. It has to be
All right.
blown because it's
Then,
just
okay, whatever, if they blow it off with a leaf blower, that's fine too.
perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Council President, can I just add to that? I know that Team Randy has an event over there a week from Wednesday, so I'd request Buildings and Grounds just to go out there and make sure if they needed anything else, accommodate them for the event, for visitors that are coming to the beach.
Okay. Anyone else like to speak? Pat? Oh, you want to defer to this? Okay, come on up. Please let us know who you are and where you live.
Jan Harris, 229 Joseph Street, Lavalette.
Okay.
It's not only the sand, it's all rocks. You know, the hard pack was hard in the beginning, but all the rocks have come to the top now. And it's very difficult to walk on that surface.
Well, the township engineer reviewed it and said that it's, at this point, that it's satisfactory and it meets the requirements. So
So if you have a wheel,
Yeah.
you don't think that's going to be a problem?
Well, I don't know. I'm not looking at it. That's why I asked if it was compacted, and he indicated that it was. So, if you compact it, it shouldn't be loose. Well, you just can stay there. Go ahead. So,
Council President, I want to be clear, this is not something the township designed. This is what the Army Corps designs throughout the country. It's an I-5 mix, which is, is certain gravel, a certain
Right.
size. I've seen, there are some stones that are larger than grades. Again, that can be raked out, but this was supplied and certified by the Army Corps to us. This is what they certified as compliance with the ADA regs. It's compacted, it is hard as a rock.
are we having any problems anywhere else other than this one location?
We haven't had, this is the same, again, we have, in Ortley,
We have two. We have both lifeguards, yeah.
Can we just go back and look at it one more time, please? And then see if there's a way we could bring a little, the handheld vibrating compactor there?
infield mix, has less stone, a little more that we can, maybe that would take the rock issue, and the sand's still gonna blow on top, but
Right.
it appear to be a little smoother.
Yeah, if we can do that, that would be great.
The other thing we get though is, of course, if people complain, you get your feet, you get out to the car. Well, no, you get, it's dirt.
I mean, you can't have everything. So it's a handicap ramp. We're going to have, we want it to
try to
work.
help.
Yeah, we want it to work. We didn't build it so that people are going to complain and say it's not working. So we want to make it work. So we have to figure out how to make it work.
Bob,
Wait a second, what was the
okay.
reason for not being able to have a Moby mat on there? We used to have a Moby mat, and we had no problem.
Core, because we asked for that. The Moby mat says that the sand goes through them and they shift. There's very specific requirements for grade, and they would not certify. We asked for it. would not install. We were willing to pay for it, and they would not put it. They put it everywhere except for vehiculars and ADAs.
So maybe there's something peculiar about this one installation. Maybe we can, take a look at it and then bring in a vibrating compactor, compact it again to whatever the requirement is. Yeah, refresh it a little bit, and then we can see where it is.
Bob, what about a push broom instead of raking? Would that be?
I think that's probably the better way, because one thing.
Then you wouldn't disturb this. You wouldn't disturb the stones. You'd remove just the loose sand. Yeah.
I can't have everyone speak at once.
Yeah.
If you'd like to speak, you can come back up, but we're trying to work here with this.
Treat it with perhaps an I-5 mix without, an infill mix without the stone. Put a layer of that, compact it, and then maintain it with a broom. I would caution us about using blowers, because silica dust
Yeah.
is an issue for the environment. So you go to a leaf blower and start blowing
Yeah.
silica dust, you can get.
But we want to figure out how to make it work. So can you take another look at it and make it work? I don't want to design it here, but we need to figure out a way to make it work so the wheelchair can negotiate the ramp.
The other thing we do have, I know that this there, is we do have the off-road wheelchairs with the larger tires. That's what we've successfully used in Orton as well.
Yeah, and, it does work for some, but as Mr. Spagaro can attest, he's not a candidate for that, so I think we need to be able to accommodate everyone that wants to get onto that ramp.
And Mr. Guardian has something he'd like to say, so I'll ask him to weigh in.
Council President, I just wanted to reiterate what the engineer was trying to say. Sand contains silica dust. It is a carcinogenic. It should never be blown. It's really dangerous having anyone blow the sand. Brushing is the only safe way to move sand. You can't blow it. I think a hard base that Bob is suggesting, and I think at this point we should go back to the Army Corps of Engineers to ask if we can indeed install the Moby mat for next season. It's a cost of about $25,000, but it'll solve the problem.
Okay.
That's what my question was, because although I'm in the chair, I'm not the only one. I have a lot of friends of mine and family who are elderly. In order to use it, the Moby mats would be better. So my question would be, and could you all find out for us, is it a statute that's cut and dry where nothing can be done? Or is there regulatory wiggle room in order to put the mats down? Because it would make a big difference, not just for a wheelchair, but also people who have mobility issues, whether it be somebody elderly or somebody with disability. So my question would be, is there any kind of wiggle room with the regulations with the Army Corps? Because it's very confusing for people who are like us. That's where people like you need to figure it out and learn and teach us, because it's very confusing.
Okay, I think we can certainly take a look at that. I don't believe there's any law that says we can't put it in there. It's just not going to be certified by the Corps of Engineers. But at the end of the day, if it doesn't work, we need to make it work. So let's put everybody's heads together and figure out how we can make it work, all right? All right, thank you. Pat?
Pat Laszlo, Ortley Beach. First of all, I'm a little confused. Is Plainfield and Joseph Street in Toms River or Lavalette? 'Cause if
Their mailing
Lavalette
address is
should-
It is in
Lavalette.
Toms River, it's
Yep.
in Sunset Manor, but it have a mailing address of Lavalette, so a lot of people say Lavalette, kind of like Ortley has the mailing address of Seaside Heights.
Most of Ocean Beach has a Lavalette address as well.
Okay, I was just curious.
It's just based on the post office. So, you have Berkeley residents have a Toms River address because of the post office. That's really what it's related to.
But besides that, I believe I heard someone say that they weren't aware of the change they want to make in the flood insurance. It's on it's a resolution or an ordinance on the paper. What do they want to change?
The rates.
The rates.
They're going to increase the rates significantly if you renew your flood insurance policy.
Oh, so it's just the rates, they're not changing anything else, they just
Well,
want to
no,
change-
there's a
they
couple
want to
things.
increase
So there's two different things. So what the resolution's about is the rates for flood insurance. Some are going to go up as high as 40, 50% or more, depending on your elevation, a bunch of different factors. If it's a renewal, if it's a second home, and so on. What Mr. Hill was speaking about, Councilman Hill was speaking about, was the fact that the maps, for the flood maps, have not been finalized by the FEMA, because there's discrepancies in the data that was used to establish the current flood maps. So they're interim flood maps, and the data that they used was based on some flood information that raised the flood elevation 2 feet higher in some cases in New York City. And based on that, New York City sued the federal government and asked them to take a second look at it, because the between the program and the data, not to get too technical, was incorrect. And Mr. Schenkelian can go into detail with you, he knows all about it. In any case, that could impact the flood elevations in Tom's River, not by 2 feet, but at least a foot in some cases. So we're not going to accept they're not even going to finalize the maps until this lawsuit's finalized, because it's going to have a knock-on effect on all the flood elevations down to Ocean County.
Okay, personally, the flood elevation doesn't matter to me because I'm 13 stairs to my first floor, but it was just the other thing I thought they were changing. But if they're changing the fee structure and that's a
Right.
huge concern, considering our taxes are so
Right.
high to begin with, and then to add the flood insurance fees on top of
Yeah,
it.
and Pat, that's going to affect everyone in the township that's in a floodplain.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am. Over here. Yes. Hi.
Hi, my name is Geraldine Lucas. I live at 20 Alera Drive, Toms River in Holiday City, Silverton. Okay, the reason I'm here today is because I've been in the area since 1977. I always come back in the summertime when I was a kid to the beach here, which is the best beach in the world. I've traveled all over Europe and the Near East and worked over there. All right, I live in Holiday City, Silverton, next to a neighbor by the name of Vega, Marta and Angel Vega, who have robbed my home. She came in and stole my passport and birth certificate. Now, the walls there, I live in a duplex. When Hovanian built them, he didn't put in good insulation. I come from Chelsea in New York. And in New York, it's all cement. So your neighbor can hear everything here because of the way he constructed the duplexes. Okay, I heard her come home. When I came home from work one day, she said, I have her passport. And my passport was out. Yes, it was wet, because I showed it to Jack Hausman, who was the manager of the Stop and
Can
Shop.
I ask you a question?
Yes.
Did you report this to the police? Because it seems like a police
I had
matter.
12 police reports. Nobody did anything. And not only that,
Okay, well, but again, this is not a township council matter if you have a theft of your passport from your house. I mean, we can certainly have the police look at it another time, but we're not able to really do anything about police matters. That's why we have a police
well, the
department.
police department are corrupt. There's a certain amount of policemen on this.
I wouldn't say that. I mean,
There's a certain police-
you can express an opinion, but that's
I
not
know, that's
accurate.
my opinion.
Right.
My experience, okay? When I called a policeman to check on the noise next door, and they took me to the behavioral center, and then they never checked the noise. So what is the connection here? When I call the police to check a noise on a neighbor and they don't do it, something wrong with the police department.
Did they respond to your home?
No.
They didn't?
They came to my home, but they didn't go next door to check the noise. They took me to the behavioral center.
Okay, again, ma'am, I'm very sorry that you're having a
Yes,
problem.
and then listen to this. I knew one of the fellows at the behavioral center, and he said to me later on, "You were tricked into coming here," and I know that.
Okay.
One of the managers at the behavioral center. So what I'm trying to say, there's a form of, maybe I have too many ethnic people on the police force. Maybe we should have more variety. Women, different ethnic groups, not all one ethnic group, which I think you have. And I know this for a fact because, as I said, I'm a world traveler. I lived in Syria, I lived in Lebanon, I lived in Kuwait, I lived in Bahrain. My passport had the Minister of Finance of Bahrain in that passport. That passport is worth quite a bit of money on the black market, and my birth certificate happened to be in there too. I want them back.
Okay, well, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to help you with that.
And the police are not helping me.
Well, again, I don't know what to say, but we can certainly ask the administrator to contact the chief of police and find out if there's
I
any.
wrote several letters and everything. That's
Well,
why I'm
we have the
here.
administrator here, he'll speak to the chief of police, correct?
I wanted to say, the mayor knows I've been trying to contact him. There's one other thing I want to tell you about the township. If you want to redo the town, you got to get rid of that jail that looks like, what is it, the World Trade Center. Put the prisons down in the ground, because people coming here want to see that jail. That's the biggest building in the area. It's an eyesore. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Anyone else wish to speak? Nick, come on up.
Alizar Zoraju, Toms River Business Improvement District. I just have a few updates from the bid, with it being event season and all for us. But before we get into that, could I get clarification on the consent agenda this evening? Was item K approved?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. few updates. Our trolley is in the shop right now. We're waiting for its alternator to be rebuilt. As soon as it's on the road, we have everything we need to launch it. Sponsors are coming in, drivers hired, it's registered, insured, all those good things. So as soon as it's on the road, we'll be putting it on all of our social media channels. Should be in the news, and we'll do a press release. And it'll be on the website. So stay tuned. I want to thank the township administrative staff and buildings and grounds for getting Huddy Park all pristine for us for Huddy Park game night last month. Our next one will be on the 4th Wednesday of July, which is July 24th. Okay. Thank you, Councilwoman York, for reminding everyone about Summer in the Street. There's no council meetings before then, so I just wanted to reiterate that on July 20th, right out front here on Washington Street, we'll have food trucks, vendors, beer and wine garden, live entertainment from Smokey Star, CPR Band, and Catfish Lucy. It's free admission, and parking is free that day. More information on our website, downtowntomsriver.com. Also, wanted to follow up with Council President Whitman's request for information about cruising. Our next cruising night is tomorrow night. You may notice our street banner is a little messed up right now. Hopefully, Fire Company Number 1 will help us out with that tonight and get it fixed. But nonetheless, cruising returns to Washington Street tomorrow night from 6 to 9 p.m. And finally, the farmers market has been up and running since May and will continue until Thanksgiving, and that's every Wednesday at 28 Hadley. That's the lawn of the Ocean County Parking Garage. Okay, that's all for now. Thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak? Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name's Anthony DeVecca. I live at 60 Main Street in Toms River. I have a question. I was looking to try to start some fundraising to raise money to go towards the local skate park. I was wondering if the township would be able to accept donations towards park equipment.
That's a legal question for our attorney. He can explain. I think it depends on the format and so on.
All right.
Council President is correct that it depends. You generally have to create a fund, a dedicated fund to accept that. That normally would be done by ordinance.
Would that be possible to do?
But it depends. There's so many factual questions underpinning that as to whether who's going to run the skate park, manage it, etc. You have to have those details worked out before you say, let's just take donations and put them in a fund.
Yeah, Jackson Township passed
I'm
an
aware of
ordinance.
Jackson's ordinance.
You are? All right. If I were to raise funds, say a GoFundMe or something like that, I wouldn't be able to, that money wouldn't be able to get donated to the township, would it, to go towards equipment?
I don't know what restriction, if any, there would be on the money you raised.
Oh, by the way, the skate park is in the ordinance we just approved tonight as item 8. Yes, if you go through the detail, which we'll give you a copy of, that ordinance has the funding for the skate park included in the bond ordinance. Yeah, Mr. Schenkelian, would you like to?
I just want to let you know that we just got the proposal from our consultant, so we're going to be putting that in for the next council meeting. Hopefully, we'll award the design contract.
Okay. Yes, so we actually will have a design underway soon, and the funds to build it are in the budget. Okay, in the bond.
If he wanted to contribute to it, is there some way he could meet with our legal team to discuss how it would be possible?
I think we, the answer to the question Councilman Urich had was, how would we go about doing that? And I think we need to figure out what you want to do with the funds and how you're going to go about raising them. And I think if you can have a meeting with our recreational director and describe in detail what you want to do, then we can determine how we go about doing that and accepting a fund. So we're not adverse to doing that. We're not adverse to having you do the fundraising. It's a matter of, the format that we follow and so we do it legally.
We did do it when we did the ice rink for the ice committee.
We did something like, as Councilman Kibel indicated, we did that something similar to that when we had the ice rink built. So, I think if you can set up a meeting with our township administrator and our recreational director, they can kind of sketch out what you'd have to do. All right?
All right, because we talked about possibly putting a roof structure and maybe lighting, but it's really not.
That's not in the budget right now. So let's start with let's get the skate park built first, and then we'll worry about, lighting and everything else. But I'm sure there'll be adequate lighting, but, putting a roof structure on it, there's no money in for that, I can tell you. All right. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. My name's Donna Sergio. I live at 601 Main Street downtown. We've been having a problem for a few months on 519 Main Street on the corner of Main and Dover. There's a building, Dr. Canis used to be there. I'm sure some of you might be familiar. The building was designated as 2 apartments. One of them, I think one of them is supposed to be occupied by the owner and who can also have a business run out of the building. It was supposed to be a dentist's office, which of course hasn't happened in years. The building has been sold several times. The gentleman who owns it currently does not live there, and when he renovated, he decided to put 4 kitchens in the house. He has now taken a 2-bedroom home and turned it into a 4-bedroom home. There's no parking for the house, but the biggest problem is that he doesn't take care of the house. He rented it out. The gentleman who rented the front apartment was told to put the gas in his name. Unbeknownst to him, he was generously paying the gas for all 4 apartments. Needless to say, he has moved out. The gentleman who was living in the basement apartment also had to move out because, from what I understand, there was water coming through the walls and the ceiling fell down on him. I'm not sure what happened to started out as 2 and ended up as 5 or 6 people, all very nice, who were living in the 2nd floor and attic apartment. They were told they needed to vacate in 10 days with their children. He had toddlers and infants in the second floor and attic apartment with no screens on the window. In the 90-degree heat, the windows were open and there were children in the house. The railings on the front of the house are at least 6 to 8 inches from the 2nd floor deck, so a child could easily crawl underneath it. The dog went underneath it, but the dog was okay. There's 1 couple left in the apartment. Again, they are very, very nice people living there, but this guy does not take care of it. The grass is a foot long on any given day. There's a table leaning against the house that's been there for 2 to 3 years, and now the garbage is piling up because as everybody moves out, they leave garbage behind and nobody takes care of it. I got together with the neighbor who lives there. His English isn't terrific. I called the township and I arranged for special pickup to come and pick up the garbage on Friday, and we told him we would help him get the garbage out. I want to see the other 2 kitchens ripped out of that house because this guy is trashy, and I really don't appreciate him overloading the apartment with 4 families.
Before any public comment is made by any council person, I would ask you to give the administrator the street address of that building.
It was 519 Main Street.
Okay, we can arrange for the appropriate inspections to be made.
Right.
The reason it would be better if the council did not comment is because this may have to go before council or before the planning board or zoning board of adjustment, and I don't want to prejudice any hearing that may occur in the future.
Gotcha. Terrific. I just want to make sure they're aware of it. Thank you so much. Have a great night.
Anyone else?
Seeing none, move to executive session.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I was all set to say something. Tell her Bobby to look at it, or Craig to look at it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Hi, Mr. McPhail. How are you today?
Nice to see you.
It's good to see you too. After I walked up here,
Are you aware of it? Are you aware of that address?
No, I'm not. Maybe on the record. We'll be there tomorrow.
Okay, good. Hi, Gene.
So I wanted to talk about flood insurance.
Right.
You guys did the Central Point Beach is going to do one, and you guys hopefully did the same.
Right.
Talked to Menendez, the guy tomorrow about it.
Whereas Section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances to discuss matters requiring confidentiality and/or of a privileged nature, and whereas the Township Council is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, now therefore be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Toms River in the County of Ocean and State of New Jersey as follows. The Township Council will now conduct a private executive session. The general nature of the subject matter to be discussed and/or acted upon is as follows. Matters of personnel, attorney-client privilege, land acquisitions, and contract negotiations. The following specific items to be discussed and/or acted upon are as follows. The executive session minutes of June 25, 2019. Personnel issues of the Township Clerk's Office and Administration. The review of status of all real property acquisitions. And review of candidates for appointment of the Rent Leveling Board in their respective backgrounds and qualifications. It is anticipated that the deliberations conducted in closed session may be disclosed to the public upon the determination of the Township Council that the public interest will no longer be served by such confidentiality. Motion to go into executive session made by Councilman Kubel, seconded by Councilwoman Yurick at 6:55 p.m. with all in agreement.
Yes, we are. Oh, okay. Greg? Yeah. Okay. By the way, the ambulance for your first aid squad is in the net ordinance. Number 9, I think it is. It's included in there, so. Yeah. Chris, yeah. What's that? Yeah. Well, I'm
All in favor? Do I have a motion to approve the minutes? All in favor? Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Can I find my paper? Motion was made by Councilman Yurick, seconded by Councilman Turnbach? Councilwoman Yurick? Yes. Councilman Turnbach?
Yes.
Councilman Kubel? Councilwoman Maruka? Yes. Council Vice President Hill? Yes. Council President Whitman?
Yes. Motion to adjourn. Second. All in favor? Aye.
Okey-doke. 7:46 PM. Good night.